good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 18th of June, year of our Lord 2024. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Sinkle, aka Motown No. I got a big show for you guys today. This is actually the fourth time in the last 30 minutes that I've gotten like 15 minutes in every single time, and I am freaking the fuck out today, apparently. And I'm upset because I have really diligent topics today, and I keep fucking it up. And I apologize to be using such vulgar language this early in an episode, but I'm upset. I'm cranky. But the Boston Celtics just hung banner number 18. Oh my God, the thing that we were saying all season was probably going to happen, and then a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, just our brains were like, bleh, we just unplugged our brains, and we're like, this thing can't possibly happen. And then it started to very much happen, and we were like clutching our pearls, and then Boston, the best team in the fucking league all season, won the championship. You're like, what? You're like, huh? Yeah. That is, I'm being a little bit reductive. Again, I'm being combative because I'm upset about stuff that has happened in previous recordings that have since been deleted that you guys will never see. I'm upset about that. I'm actually in a good mood right now, believe it or not, because a lot of things happen tonight narratively that I'm excited about. And I wrote down some notes, and let's jump into them, folks. Well, but matter of fact, before we do that, we have to do a little game. We have to do my favorite thing. Every time a team wins a championship, I love going up and down the roster. I've teased this in recent weeks. I love going up and down the roster and reading each name and saying, insert player name, NBA champion, and just seeing how it feels, right? So let's do it with the Celtics. We have a new champion, 2024. Whoa. Sam Hauser, NBA champion. Made some big plays in the playoffs. We'll remember him as like a dude who like did some stuff for this team. Like, nice, dude. Hell yeah. Xavier Tillman, NBA champion, Spartan Dog. By the way, go green. How's that one feel? Xavier Tillman. Get to say it twice. NBA champion. Take that for data. Data? Take that for data. How did he say it? Did he say data or data? You won't be able to type it. You won't be able, because if you just type data and data, it's gonna be the same fucking word. I don't care about this. I'm losing momentum. Don't leave a comment about this. I don't give a shit. Svi Mykhailiuk, NBA champion. That dude who commented the other day and was like, as a Pistons fan, I have a soft spot in my heart for Svi Mykhailiuk. Dog, I could not agree with you more. And how does it feel, brother? How does it feel? How's that sunshine feel? Svi Mykhailiuk, the pride of Ukraine, NBA champion. Sneaky journeyman, by the way, Svi Mykhailiuk. 26 years old and has played for 7 teams. What has he got? The Lakers. He's got the Lakers, the Pistons, Oklahoma City, Toronto, the Knicks, Charlotte, and Boston. I also forgot that he got traded in his rookie year from the Lakers when he got sent to Detroit. So nice. O'Shea Brissett, NBA champion. Whoa. I don't know. I got nothing on that. Whatever. Take it or leave it. Jaden Springer, again, NBA champion. Can't be disrespectful. Jaden Springer, NBA champion. Whoa. Impressed. Luke Cornett. I might lose some of you guys with this one. I might get some tomatoes sent my way. I don't give a shit about that at all. Payton Pritchard. Damn. NBA champion. Payton Pritchard. NBA champion. How's that one feel? It's rare when watching this sport that, I mean, you could do this in football too, honestly, with some throws and shit. Honestly, do it with interceptions. Shut up. Get to the point. It is rare that a dude will put up a shot like Payton Pritchard put up before the half, and the millisecond that it leaves his hand, I mean, fractions of seconds are going by, and you're like replaying everything that he's done in the last few weeks, and you know immediately that shit's going in. Did anybody else feel that? Was that just me? Like, it was very palpable, again, in those microseconds that are passing between it leaving his hand and it actually going in. You're like, that's literally going in, and then it actually does. I'm talking like the last time I felt like that was Dame over Paul George. Time before that, I guess my timeline's a little messed up here. I think the time before now, I think technically it would have been Luka in the bubble. He had a shot over, I think it was against the Clippers. Mike Breen double bang, by the way. And so then before that would have been, and then before that it would have been Oklahoma City, the Steph shot in Oklahoma City, which by the way was another double bang from Mike Breen. I'm excited, man. I'm really happy for the Jays right now. I really am. matter of fact, they showed a little highlight package just a second ago. And it kind of chronicled, it was like 2.5, 3 minutes long. It chronicled the journey that they've been on specifically in the playoffs. And you kind of forget, maybe it's just me, you kind of forget how long they've been making like deep playoff runs. It's been like 7 years. Like 7 years. Like 2017, 2018, LeBron on the Cavs, like the best player that's ever lived, ever. Playing the Boston Celtics in the playoffs, and Jayson Tatum has that dunk, and he's like, that's crazy because I literally had LeBron on a poster when I was a kid. Was it in his dorm at Duke? I don't remember where and when at the point in his life. And maybe I'm rewriting history here, but wasn't that also sort of the Jayson Tatum era, like around that year, maybe a few years before or something, was when we first started to get this batch of players in the NBA who were like my age, who like grew up with LeBron, where like, or like he was older than us. So like he was like like not like bronzexuals, like entering the league, but that adjacent, you know what I mean? I think that was kind of around Jayson Tatum. So for LeBron, it kind of put him in this new tier of his career where you were like, whoa, like he's kind of the, you know, the sheriff around here. I mean, sure, he had been proverbially for like a decade even at that point, but you know what I mean? Like he was the, you know, like Tim Duncan for like the last fucking 8 years of his career where you were just like, that's the old man at the Y. Like that was LeBron, like suddenly, and you were like, whoa. And I guess we didn't really get there, I don't think, until he went to the Lakers, which I guess, matter of fact, though, that would have been like the next fucking year. I think, wasn't 17, 18 the last year? 18, 9. No. He was gone after that year. Yeah. He was gone after that year. Damn it, I did it again. I talked myself into, I started focusing on something that didn't matter. And I was talking about the Jays. 7 years that they've been doing this. And, you know, narratively, what we've tried to do to these fucking guys, and man, they lose in the finals once, and what happens when those two dudes actually do it? It's kind of what you were asking yourself for a while, and oh my God, that it actually happened. Let's talk maybe for a second about this from the Jayson Tatum angle. I got to tell you guys something. I think I identified something about Jayson Tatum that I really like. I really appreciate that he embraces what the Celtics are culturally as a franchise and their significance to the sport. Because usually you see fans do that, where they like cling to the heritage of their franchise, of their preferred franchise. Like Yankees fans will do it. Red Sox fans will do it. We go down the list. Like Packers fans do it. You get what I'm saying, right? And the Celtics are absolutely one of those teams. And Jayson Tatum embracing the his ability to romanticize it and understanding what it means to hang banner 18 and to be the guy who's responsible for it, right? When that guy is rewarded and he actually does it for his team, not only do you not really see that in the NBA anymore, but damn, it just feels good. Like, it just feels good. Like, that dude worked hard for a damn near decade to do this. Came up short a couple of years ago, and, like, otherwise has, again, just been doing this for, like, 7 years. When that guy actually, reaches the apex, for me, that just feels awesome. Now, I got to backtrack a little bit because I say, he understands what it means to be the guy who's responsible. The guy who's responsible for bringing the Celtics banner 18. Now, I am not saying that he is not. But I am saying that they did actually fucking do it. They actually gave Jaylen Brown Finals MVP. If there is anything 8 to 10 years from now that is discussed about these finals, I actually don't think it will be, and I think maybe we'll talk about this in a little bit. I don't think it's going to be, the Celtics had such an easy path to the finals. People forget about that shit. They don't usually remember the first few rounds. They remember the finals, and that's it, right? And I'm watching them say, Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP. Oh my God. I gasped. Not trying to sound like a drama queen, but I fucking gasped. Because you just think about, now that it is officially the offseason, by the way, this is where we really separate the men from the boys. because when it comes to off-season content mode, you want to be in like regular season mode, right? When it comes to the content game, folks, little industry secret, it's really about getting your mind ready for the off-season, because when you're in the season, right? The segments write themselves, right? But when you get into the dog days of August into September, what did you talk about? Training camp? Who cares? And so the NBA giving us a little gem early, a nice little head start into off-season content, just through virtue of giving Jaylen Brown the Finals MVP. This is going to turn people into content factories. You're going to start hearing from podcasts that you've never heard from before. Well, why don't we steer this thing back in the right direction for a second? Where do we end on? We ended on Payton Pritchard, right? For the NBA champion. I think that's where we ended. Let's get to Al Horford. What is it, 186 career playoff games that he played without winning a championship? And that was the most ever. Wow, Al Horford actually did it. You know what was fucked up? Is that Jayson Tatum at the least Celtics is like, whoa, Jayson Tatum, like, what about Al Horford? And he was like, yeah, man, like, we know he's not going to be around for that much longer. The fuck? Are they putting him down? Is Brad Stevens, like, going to break his leg and be like, we got to shoot Al Horford? We have to shoot Al Horford? Like, Jayson Tatum has been listening to too much Mike Breen, being like, look at this old piece of shit. Is Jayson Tatum... Are him and Mike Breen, like, in the tunnels, being like, look at that old piece of shit walk by. Listen to him creak. You can hear Al Horford before you fucking see him. You can just hear his bones creaking, that old sack of fucking dirt. They always talk about these pre-production meetings that they have, and it's just them being like, what if there was like a reverse Ozempic for like age, almost like a Benjamin Button adjacent, and they're just like slipping that. They're like, here's like some vitamin water, Al, but they put that reverse Ozempic age Benjamin Button medicine sauce all crumpled up in his vitamin water. And they're like, Al Horford, you fucking are old and you suck. I just thought it was weird for Jayson Tatum to point that out. I'm just going to fucking say it. I said I gave Jayson Tatum his flowers. I would fucking say it. I have defended this man tooth and nail. I have gone to the ends of the earth unsheathing my sword against the Jayson Tatum horde. That was an unintentional rhyme. I do that from time to time. Dr. Seuss in this news. I fucking have bled for that man, okay? And so we talk about dudes reaching that mountain. I guess I was talking about it in regards to him anyways. Dudes reaching the apex of that mountain. Jayson Tatum did it, and I feel fucking great about it. I feel awesome about it. When he goes up there and the buzzer has sounded, the crowd is electric, the confetti, green and white, falling to the floor. When that motherfucker goes out there and goes, we did it! I leapt up off the couch and I fucking gagged. And I said, no fucking way. It was the most like, it was a visceral reaction. I'm not being fucking funny at all. It was one of the... Folks, let me tune it. Let me dial it back a little bit, because if I can tell how I sound right now, and let me just. It was the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. It was the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. You want to talk about moments that are rare? Identifying Payton Pritchard hitting a shot and knowing that it's going to, like, taking a shot from fucking half court and knowing that it's going to go in. I felt like Chris Rock, Will Smith levels of, who the fuck does Jayson Tatum think he is? I felt in that moment, I was like, I'm going to think about this culturally for the rest of my life. I'm telling you right now, not to sound like the lady, I'm telling you right now, Jayson Tatum, we did it, is the new Tony Romo fucked up Jim Nance's Super Bowl call. I'm going to, and then I can't believe it. I'm losing my mind. I'm texting my brother. I'm like, that's the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm so fucking embarrassed. Who does he, like, we know what you're trying to do. That was the worst. And then they all get up on the stage and they're doing this. I hope I don't sound too online right now. I'm so sorry. But Jesus fucking Christ, man. He gets up there and he does like I texted it to my brother. He fucking said like, damn, it feels good. What did he say? Damn, dog. He goes, damn, it was worth it. But the way he said it was like when LeBron was like, it's about damn time. So between him doing like a fake fucking Kevin Garnett impression and then like doing a half-baked LeBron thing, and now he's gonna, and maybe it's already hit the fucking internet. I'm like the fucking George Bush 9/11 meme. Like, don't let me fucking find out that he took the Kobe picture. Do not let me fucking find out. And this is when I talk about being a Jayson Tatum motherfucking stan, when I talk about being in the trenches with a motherfucking bayonet defending that man, a lot of it stems from the Kobe shit, okay? Do not let me motherfucking find out that he, and hey man, this shit comes in threes, right? It's like celebrity deaths. Right? There's not one. It's not two. Speaking of LeBron, it's three. It's motherfucking three. That third plane's going to hit, and the Kobe picture's going to hit. It was fucking bad. I hated every second of that. Doug, Vesuvius killed Pompeii in 15 minutes. Jayson Tatum just gave me a fucking run for my money. Holy shit, it was bad. It was bad. Was it as bad? Was it as bad as this? Talking about the broadcast, what the fuck is Julius Randle doing on TV? What is that all about? And can we put a stop to that? Hell no. You do the Draymond thing, you're like, I guess, like, that's what he wants to do. Like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Except it's not very cool, actually. But, okay, so Jamal Crawford, that's what he does. We don't think he's very good at it, but that is what he does. And you're like, Chris Paul is like at the desk, like doing halftime shit. You're like, all right. Like, I mean, he has been doing like State Farm stuff for like a while. So like, yeah, okay. It's a different medium of TV, but like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Chris Paul's done TV before. Like, okay, that's nothing weird there. And you're like, okay, fuck, there was somebody else who I was thinking of. Oh, and then like people like Josh Hart gets brought on and people are like, yeah, like Josh Hart, like, he was good at that, I guess, but like he is also kind of new, and so technically I should be mad about that. But I like Josh Hart and Big Perk. It's like, Big Perk does TV. What the fuck is Julius Randle doing on TV? What is that all about? Paul George was on TV. Wasn't Embiid there? What the hell was that all about? Doesn't it not feel like kind of a weird series for Embiid to be at? Am I reading too much into that? Why is Embiid at a series between Luka and Jayson Tatum, and just like Boston? Now, it sounds okay when I phrase it like that. It sounds dumb as fuck. Why is he at the game? Well, he's not allowed to be at a game for the sport that in the league that he plays. Somebody might win a championship just because he plays for a different team, a rival team, I would argue. And then like competitively a rival in Luka Doncic because of that. If he goes to the game, he's bitch made, and I'm supposed to be fucking mad about it. I sound like a fucking loser right now. It's like a fucking loser right now. Hey, you want to talk about some shit, man? Did we kill the Kyrie game? Fuck. Did we do that? Was that us? Did we talk about it too much? Did we like try to manifest something that could have maybe otherwise happened, but then we just tried too hard to force it? You know why I think that this argument, what it's substantiated by, is like the fact that Kyrie not only admitted it himself, but just like very visibly was forcing the shit out of everything that he did for 5 games. And then admitted the first 2 games in Boston, he was like, yeah, man, like I was just trying to show up the crowd and like make people fucking sit down, and like it got to me. And you're like, whoa. And so I just wonder, because if it didn't happen tonight, it would have had to have been Game 7, and it just didn't feel like it was manifesting. Like he would just like dribble. And then I wonder, man, you talk about, I don't think I'm ready to go here yet. I really think I'm going to need some time to digest this. Like, in a couple of years, however Luka's career goes, maybe he does the Tatum thing. Maybe he does the Jays thing where, hey, man, this is his loss. And in 2 years, a couple of years, he's back and he actually does it. Maybe that's what happens. How are we going to look back on Luka's first finals? Because I think we can all agree that it's not his last, but how are we going to look back on his first one? Do you think, and again, I don't really want to get into it too much, but do you think the short subheader is like, wasn't really ready for the moment, maybe? Kind of didn't feel like, I don't know. Because with Kyrie, it was like in the first half, he would be like super into it. He was just like forcing shit because like you really wanted it to happen. And even though Kyrie is one of the most, we talked a couple of weeks ago, tough bucket, like dudes who give you that reaction, like Kyrie's like number 1 on the list. If you're doing a draft, he's going 1-1 every single time, right? But just like none of it would go in because they were all super contested, just bad looks. And then like the second half would come around, and at that point he's like fucking 1 for 16 and like 0 for 8 from 3, and he's just like dejected for the entire. You're like, okay, so Kyrie gave up and he fucking doesn't want to be here, and you're like, okay, you're like, so like what's Luka up to? And he's just like taking like side steps and like up faking like 2 feet from the rim and like getting and ones, and you're like, okay, cool. And then like physically the toll that takes, I guess, is that the motherfucker has an ice pack on every square inch of his body. His bones are made of paper. His fucking skin is made of glass. I reversed that. I fucked that one up. Damn, I was on a roll. Had some nice momentum there. And so you're like, okay, and I don't know, man. I guess I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but I just feel like from this series with Luka, it almost was like you just can't have a bad series. Like, you just can't have a bad series, and I think that's just what happened with both of them, and I think that sucks. And can I bring something up, actually, just speaking of Dallas and things that you're just kind of like, oh, like, what the hell? We got an email from somebody about Tim Hardaway, and if you give me just a second, I can pull this up. We got an email from Sam. Subject line is just Tim Hardaway. copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email will be available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this show. Sam, welcome to the show. I'm new to getting onto the Coping Hour hype train, but I'm happy to be here. Just sending this after Game 4 and Timmy H getting some nice garbage time buckets. Am I going crazy, or what is going on with Tim Hardaway Jr. not being talked about at all? The guy averaged almost 15 points on 26 minutes a game this season and has been absolutely invisible this postseason, parenthetically. 3.8 points, 13 minutes a game, close parentheses. How often can you say as a finals team that your third best scorer just disappeared for the entire playoffs? Beats me. Is this an actual thing to take note of, or am I just being a chode? What the fuck? Are you Australian? Oh, yeah, okay, because you said g'day at the beginning and then cordially, Steve Novak's biggest fan. So, yeah, you must be Australian. Or was Steve Novak, is he New Zealand? Steve Novak, hold on, we're going to do this on the way. Steve Novak home. Steve Novak home. No, not Milwaukee. Like Steve Novak, like birth. Like where was he? Wait, he was born in Illinois? Wait, so are you just... Okay, this one really got away from me, and I felt like we were kind of on a roll there, and then I gotta tell you, I don't know what the fuck happened with Tim Hardaway Jr. Son, can I be honest with you? Can I tell you the reason that I'm reading this email, Sam? I've been wanting to bring up for like 3 or 4 weeks, what the fuck happened to Tim Hardaway Jr.? Like, I thought, like, oh, he's not playing anymore? But I was too scared of, like, getting called out and, like, people be like, I thought you loved the Mavs. Like, what do you mean you don't? I do. I thought I did. And then I think it was the sort of game 2, halfway through the Timberwolves series. I'm like, where the fuck has Tim Hardaway Jr. been? I'm, like, looking at the game logs. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And, like, I've just been too scared to ask anybody or bring it up. I sound like a stupid asshole. And so I'm just kind of like trying to like lurk on like subreddits and shit. Like, what is going on with Tim Hardaway Jr.? Like, what's his deal? And just through watching the games, I guess they just are like Derrick Jones Jr. just does more stuff that we like. And I think what maybe one of the is this it? Is this one of the things? I think part of it is I think Tim Hardaway Jr.'s 3-point shooting is just bad now, right? Is that part of it? And then the second part of it, Derrick Jones Jr. Can catch lobs. He can. Hell, even at the beginning of this game, he had one. It was actually kind of nice. I think it was on just a little pick and roll, too. It was really nice. Derrick Jones Jr. can catch lobs. Tim Hardaway Jr. Can't. But I agree with you, dude, that, like, what happened? Where did that come from? I don't know if Mavs fans will just be like, no, straight up, dude, he's been bad forever. Like, he's been bad for a while. I don't know. That one shocked me. You know, another thing on Kyrie, I wonder what's the worst case scenario narratively for Dallas this offseason? Do they try to break up the band? And like Kyrie, because Jason Kidd, I think is like people are like I think he's in people's good graces this year. I think people like he really changed people's minds, really convinced the people like, whoa, Jason Kidd maybe knows what he's doing, or maybe he caught lightning in a bottle. I have no idea. Hey, speaking of maybe according to Mike Breen, I guess they did catch lightning in a bottle because he said something about. Did I mention this at the beginning? I'm sorry, dude. This is one of those moments where I don't remember if I said this in a previous recording or if I said this because or if I said this at the beginning of this episode, so if I am repeating it, and I apologize. But Mike Breen on the broadcast is like, they're doing the thing at the end of the game where they're like, Dallas, like, it's over. Boston's about to win. There's a couple minutes left. And he's like spending a couple seconds like being like, oh, Dallas, what a terrific season that they had. And they've got a lot to be proud of and blah, blah, blah. Just before, focusing the direction on the team that actually deserves the spotlight in that moment. The Boston Celtics winning an NBA championship. But in the process of doing the whole Dallas eulogy thing, he goes, an improbable run to the finals. Huh? It was? Are we sure? I don't really know about that. I mean, it was a little, maybe it was a little shocking along the way. I didn't think it was like, I think most of us were like, yeah, if there's like 3 teams that were talking about going to the finals in the West, I think a lot of us would have been like Denver, number 1. And after that, I don't know. Minnesota was kind of a sexy pick for people. It's obviously easy to say it now that they made it to the Western Conference Finals, but it was easy to not be so sure about it going into the playoffs. It was easy to be like, we'll see. And then they were just fucking awesome. They were like, oh, no, we're actually good. Oh, okay, cool. And then the third team would have been Dallas. Some people would be like, Nicholas. Well, would you not say Oklahoma City? Would you not say the Oklahoma City Thunder? Then in the East, you could say the Boston Celtics. But Nick, I don't know if you do this. You always talk about how much you like the Boston Celtics, but if you didn't know this, Brainiac, the Boston Celtics actually have a bunch of racist fans. So you should root for that team. Those are some real emails that some of you fuckers send in to me. Just something to chew on. Let's get back to the list of names where we go NBA champion, because I think we still have a few more here. And we ended on Al Horford, I believe, is where it was. Derrick White, whoa! We had a couple moments in this series where people had games. We had the Kristaps Porzingis game, which I don't even think we read his name yet. We'll get to him in just a second, right? Was this sneaky? I mean, it was definitely the everybody game. This was just the Celtics, put the Mavericks away, and like it's over. The best team in the league, dominated in every facet, just like they have all season. And again, moonwalked over the team that was in front of them. And Derrick White, chipped his tooth. He's like, I'll lose a tooth. I'll lose a tooth if it means I could win a championship. And I remember a couple years ago when this trade happened, and what was it? It was Josh Richardson, like 2 firsts, 1 or 2 firsts, and then it was one of those young kids went to Indiana. Who the hell was it? I'm not cutting this out. The Celtics had a kid from Indiana. I don't think Tom Crean would have coached him. It's Romeo Langford. Boom. I'm not even Googling it because that was definitely Romeo Langford. The Derrick White trade was 100% Josh Richardson, 2 first-round picks, and Romeo Langford. How'd that one work out? Holy smokes. Brad Stevens, by the way, NBA champion. Sam Cassell, by the way, NBA champion. Sam Cassell, a very unfortunate victim of being one of those guys that when I was growing up, I hated because he was ugly. It's like, I don't like looking at him. And what's weird is he's actually aged very gracefully. And I would say that today in 2024, while he may not be conventionally good looking, I think that he is very passable as a good looking guy. I think he's like, oh, wow, Sam Cassell. Whoa. Like somehow a silver fox with no hair. Impressed. Like, I guess he has a little salt and pepper in the beard. So Sam Cassell, NBA champion. Who else we got? Derrick White, NBA champion. Excited for him. Drew Holiday, a 2-time, by the way, a 2-time NBA champion. I mean, the missing piece of all missing pieces. And when we talk about the Western Conference, it was Mike Conley as like the dude where you're like, damn, you just hope he gets one. Because it truly cannot happen to a better person, to a better guy. And yes, Drew Holiday already had one. But for him to get another one, and him and his wife too, man, they are just the best. And so on a very human level, more than anything, I'm just excited for him. And is this I should be saving the best for last year, right? Kristaps Porzingis, NBA champion. Kristaps Porzingis, NBA champion. Kristaps Porzingis from Latvia, 28 years old, plays for the Boston Celtics. Ever fucking heard of him? Oh, what do you mean? The guy who's an NBA champion? Yeah, that's exactly who I fucking mean. Kristaps Porzingis, the NBA champion. NBA champion. And how about the way that the Boston crowd, who all night was great, how about the Boston crowd, like, giving him, fucking up Derrick White's free throw, by the way, and just, like, shouting and screaming as loud as they can while Derrick White is in his fucking routine. Relax, guys, maybe a little bit. Give this guy 2 seconds, please, to get this shot off. And then go ballistic. That'll be kind of cool, honestly, even if you do. Okay, then Kristaps Porzingis checks the game. They just go berserk. I couldn't figure it out if I wanted to say ballistic or berserk right there. So I was like... It's like I was getting fucking zapped, fucking volt shot. Kristaps Porzingis, NBA champion. And then Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum. By the way, NBA champions. Jayson Tatum, like, real life did it. And I can't believe it, man. And in that first half, he had, 9 assists? And then it was funny. There's like 12 seconds left in the half. And I think I said earlier, Payton Pritchard took that shot at the end of the half. I think it was at the end of the third quarter. The Jayson Tatum, I think it was at the end of the second quarter, was when he hit that just like fuck you sidestep from 27 feet where he was like, dude, I'm on a roll right now. I haven't taken that many shots, honestly, but I'm still feeling really good. Because that was what was consistent about this series is even though the shooting splits weren't there on most nights, he was still impacting the game in really positive ways. And another thing I want to say about him, in the postgame, I talk about how fucking appalled, mortified, and disgusted I was at his "we did it" and his it's about damn time or whatever the bullshit he said. Mortified by that. Like, don't tell me I'm overreacting because that was the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. I gotta tell you, the reason that it hurt so bad was because not 2 minutes before that, on a very real level, seeing the image of him embracing Deuce and holding him while the confetti's falling and seeing that emotion on Tatum's face, I real life cried. I real life was like, damn, just because as a dude, I mean, we just had Father's Day and ours, he's almost 2 months old, and I have a little a new perspective on what that would maybe feel like. And I was just like, to be able to experience that moment with your son, and for your son to be at an age where he will remember it when he's old enough. You see some of these guys and they go up there on the podiums with newborns and they got headphones bigger than these, and you're just kind of like, it's cute. And one day the pictures will be really cool, but it's they don't remember it. But it is one thing for you one day to be able to talk to him about that, and from your own experiences. And so I really got a lot out of that. And for Jayson Tatum to win an NBA championship, I am fucking shocked. Mike Breen, another Mike Breen note, mentioning the fact that there was a Celtics watch party for Game 4. And at TD Garden, and so the game was horrible if you're a Celtics fan. And so I guess some fans, I did see the videos, but some fans broke out into a fight. And it was pretty bad. And Mike Breen mentioned that on the broadcast. I was like, why the fuck is that? I don't know if that's I was like, really? And you want to talk about, I had a bad finals because one of the games I straight up fell asleep, which was kind of not my fault because the game was good, but I'm just tired. And in the Game 4, I turned it off. Do you want to know why I turned it off? Mike Breen, with a couple minutes left in the third quarter, it was so out of hand. And he laughs and he goes, so what do you guys want to talk about? Because it was, and at that point, Mike, thank you for letting me know that this shit is fucking over and I have nothing to stick around for at this point. And I tell you, man, so the Celtics lost a game in the finals? Oh, they did? Wow, that's crazy. So the team that we were saying was going to destroy everybody all year long actually destroyed everybody all year long on both ends of the floor and had probably the best 1 through 7 that I honestly couldn't tell you the last time we saw. The truth is maybe last year with Denver. But if you're talking about the last, if you want to do the all-decade finals, rank them so far, because there's been 5 of them. We had the Lakers, the Bucks, the Warriors, the Nuggets, and now the Celtics. Boston is at least the second best team there, right? Okay, so that team gets to the finals. And if I've said it fucking once, I've said it a million times. Anytime that I mention Boston in these playoffs, I always love to say the same thing. Going into the finals, I was like, okay, so Boston loses 2 games on their way to the playoffs, and it was at both moments at the hands of just an insane avalanche from the opposing offense. The shooting disparities are such, and getting to the line more. And it's like, yeah, those, like, it just happens in the NBA. Like, some teams just have those nights. And then guess what happened? They get to the finals and they just literally moonwalk over Dallas 90% of the time. And then they have this one game where it was like kind of fluky and like it kind of went off the rails, and they were like, oops. And then they immediately got back and they fucking snapped out of it. And then they went back to Boston and they took care of business, which is the same shit that they've been doing all year long. And I think that's kind of, stay with me on this because I'm really all over the place right now. But I think that's why I like them so much. I find them to be kind of endearing is because they follow like a routine. But what they showed you was you could crack their armor. They're super mortal. God, that sounded so corny in my head. I was like, this will be a bar. It came out and I sounded like I was doing like it was gross. It's dumb. But you know what I mean, right? They were a very human team, but damn, they were good. Damn, they were hard to beat. And when we get removed from this thing, how are we going to remember them? How are we going to talk about these Boston Celtics? I'm really, really excited to find out. So that's it, folks. Not for the show. We still got some stuff to talk about. But the Boston Celtics actually did it. They hung banner 18. I'm not surprised. Am I happy? Well, Joe Mazzulla, there's a conversation to be had about him. I don't know if we're going to have it yet. About the whole is he still a freak thing. We're investigating that. Maybe we'll cover that on Friday. We'll see if investigation pending. Maybe we'll do like an update press conference on Friday about is Joe Mazzulla still a freak investigation. Story pending. I did want to talk about something. We got an email I don't know how long ago it was at this point, because we're a little bit removed from it. There's no way that I'm going to find it. One of you said something about what if you did a voicemail for the show and you gave people, and you really take this whole like call-in themed talk show to the next level and to the real adult level, you know? And I think there are a few things. One, I don't really know logistically what the easiest way to do that is. And then the second thing that would concern me the most is that I would turn into Mike Francesa and motherfuckers would just call in and talk about horses from Schenectady and a bunch of bullshit, and I just get prank called. And that's how you get clipped. And that's how, and what's funny actually is I'm realizing this in real time. When you have those moments where the audience has like a gotcha moment with the host, in that it's like using voicemails as a vehicle, that's very clippable material. That's like, it's great for short form content. It would make the show too good. Honestly, is that the take here? Is voicemails would make the show too good, and that's when people start making separate accounts and they just make like they're like a clip channel for you. Which, sneaky, you guys want to have a motherfucking conversation about that? Where do I start with this? Okay, so there's this rising trend in the last few years of like your biggest and most favorite content creators have like random stans who just create YouTube and TikTok and Instagram accounts where they make short form content of the creator's content, and the creator just lets them do it and like keep all the revenue, because all it does is drive people to the actual creator. So like, for example, if one of you if I started doing voicemails and one of you was like, dude, this is so good, first of all, I would be fine with that. If somebody did that and they just kept whatever money they made from it, I don't fucking care about that, because it does, in the end, people want to know, well, where is the show actually from? And they would still have to come to my channel. You know what I mean? But that person could still. So I think that's cool. I think that's like that's an awesome win. And I think there's definitely going to be some day where that gets cracked down on. I don't know how that would happen. But at some point I feel like, well, why would somebody have a problem with that? Somebody will give them maybe a more nuanced response on that. But yeah, maybe we'll do a voicemail thing. I don't know. I think sometimes a lot of the times I think I could be better with the emails as it is. I mean, half the time all I say is, yeah, we got an email about this thing, and then like I like half-ass remember what it was about, and I say, I don't know who it was from. And then I kind of riff about it for 2.5 minutes. Or I go, yeah, like we got an email about this thing. But I just kind of like don't fucking. I don't know. Not been so great about the emails, but I reply to them more than I reply to them in real life more than I actually read them on the fucking show. So please still continue to send them in. It's like part of my routine. I love doing it. But a voicemail. And then the other problem is there's the give and take of I want to react to it live for the first time. But it's the same reason I skim your emails first before reading them on the show so that I know, like, yeah, this is something I would read on the show. And I don't want to do that with a voicemail because but I also want the elements, but if it just sucks, I just don't want it to, and I don't know the ratio of ones that I want that are good and the ones that are, but then you're like, dude, the content is supposed to be the people. That's like the whole tenet of this show is that the content actually comes from the person who's watching what you're doing. And so by like censoring certain, but then my response is like, yes, people's voices are important, but not everybody's voice or opinion is good content, right? And so somebody might have a take or an opinion and you're like, that's fucking cool. Or someone's like, what's your all-time, hey Nick, first time, long time, what's your all-time starting five? I'm never doing another voicemail if that comes through. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking answering that question. It's so fucking annoying. That's so boring. Like, let's do something else. Next, skip. Hello. So I don't know. What we'll do with that. We were watching America's Funniest Home Videos the other day. Surely there's like an international adjacent for that one, right? We were watching America's Funniest Home Videos. And at certain points throughout the show, they're like, submit your own clips to be featured and have a chance at winning the grand prize of $50,000. You're like, wow, impressed. It's like a website and like an email that you can send some shit into. And I was like, how much like bad shit do you think people have been sent? Like, do you think like someone has sent like an ISIS beheading video to like America's Funniest Home Videos and some like intern who is like, they're literally just there for a semester. They just need like half a credit. And they're like working for America's Funniest Home Videos. You're like, this is a cool gig. Like, whoa, Tom Bergeron. Well, not Tom Bergeron anymore. Giovanni Ribisi? No, that's the Italian guy from Saving Private Ryan and Friends. What's Carlton's name? Wow, this sucks that I can't remember his name because I obviously know his fucking name. But anyway, so they're like, okay, oh, whoa, mom and dad, I just got this fucking sick-ass gig. I'm working at America's Funniest Home Videos, and it's my job to sift through all of the submissions. And I'm like, dude, so my job is literally just going to sit there and like laugh, goof off for 8 hours, watch funny-ass videos of like cats falling into pools and like dads like getting hit in the nuts when the kid was trying to hit a piñata. Like, that rules. And they just open up some like deep web like torture video. Like, what the fuck is this? The email that it was sent is like .tor. Like, they're like, what the fuck is it? Hey, some miscellaneous thoughts to wrap up the show that I had while I was watching the finals. I'm sitting here and I'm like, how do we spice up this presentation? And then it hit me. I was like, what if Lee Corso was calling solo? He's solo in the booth and he's calling all 7 games of the NBA Finals. Because then the question becomes like, he's like, even if you put somebody else in the booth with him, does he know that though? Does Lee Corso know that there's somebody? Because they're going to do the thing in a couple months. I'm just telling you right now. They're going to wheel him out there for College Game Day. They're going to do it. They're going to do it, and we're all going to sit there, and we're going to pretend like it's like, oh, it's Lee Corso. Like, dog, he needs to lay down. He needs to lay down. He does not need to be on TV anymore. It's time to hang it up, Lee. Can't be putting that shit on your fucking head on a Saturday at noon anymore. You just can't keep doing this, man. You just can't. Like, how... We got to be real about this. Every single year, game day goes to an HBCU. And I don't want to have to read the headline where Lee Corso is at Jackson State asking where his water fountain is. You know what I mean? So I just think maybe at what point is it elderly abuse that we're still doing this with Lee Corso? So that was my first thing. And then like maybe put Lee Corso in like a really funny pair of jeans, like Jinkos or something. You don't want to make him skinny jeans. That's not funny to do to him. He's like 80 something. He's He's like 86. He's getting up there. He's getting up there. He's not old anymore. My concept of old now is like 85. 85, I'm like, whoa. 90? 85 I feel good about. Because I used to think old was like 60. 60 is not old at all. Well, it's not old, but it's not like old. I'm not like, whoa. Like are you a plume of dust? And then another one that I had, do you guys remember a couple of years ago when people were like, Brittany Griner could kick DeMarcus Cousins' ass? And some of us sat up here and were like, man, run her fucking tape at Baylor. Like, she can box motherfuckers out. We're like, what? It's DeMarcus Cousins. So I was like, with the ongoing, according to RG3, race war happening in the fucking WNBA, talk about something that I have just completely tapped out on. And I can say all I want about how I love to, in the greater, content world and like the mud pits of just shit posts, like just absolute degenerates, but like being serious on the internet, like talking about just the worst shit. I'm like a fucking pig in that. I'm like rolling around in all the bad takes. But the WNBA, I tapped on it, man. I just fucking weeks ago. I'm not interested in it at all. I guess I give credit to Kaylin for just like, she doesn't say fucking anything at all. She's like doesn't say anything at all. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so Brittany Griner versus DeMarcus Cousins was the thing. I was like, so what's the modern day adjacent? I was like, you can't put Caitlin Clark against Luka. I was like, because there are just levels to that, and that's just that you can't do that. Also, because I think the main one though is just that Luka is 6'7" and like 280 fucking pounds. So that's just, and Caitlin Clark is like 6 foot, but that's not, can't do that. And then light bulb moment, it happened. Dog, it's Caitlin Clark versus Austin Reeves. That's what I want to see. I think she would kick the shit out of Payton Pritchard. That's my take. Caitlin Clark would whoop Payton Pritchard's ass. But Austin Reeves, I would want to see that. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Really late night. It's literally midnight while I'm recording this, so I gotta get some sleep. Super long weekend traveling with the kiddo. Spent like 8 hours in the car in the last couple days. I'm gassed. Like, I can't keep my eyes open. My brain is just complete applesauce. There's been probably a lot of jump cuts in this episode. I'm really sorry, man. Fuck it. So like, we had to. I saw some like weird parts of Michigan and Indiana in the last couple days because we just had to keep taking random stops because he just like needed to, for whatever reason, he was like having stomach problems and had to feed him and change him and do all this stuff. And so we just kept having to stop. And so we ended up being in the car. It's like a 4-hour drive. We ended up being in the car like 6.5 hours today. And yeah, man, there's just something about middle America, like being in the middle of nowhere, about in like Indiana or Michigan, where it's just like a very specific type of Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all these same states. It's just like a very specific type of person in the deep parts of these states that I just find I love them. I just love them. Hey, I was looking at something the other day. You guys want a fun little geography lesson? For those of you, even, I guess, man, a lot of people in the United States might not even know this if you don't know anything about Michigan. And then for our international listeners, here's a little fun thing about Michigan. There's a whole thing about what it means to be up north. And when you go up north, it just means, so the nice thing about Michigan, you can use your hand, right? So like where I grew up is like literally in the middle. And our town slogan was the heart of Michigan. Or something about like right there. And like Lansing is like right here. Sorry, this is a very visual part of the show. So if you're just doing the audio thing on Spotify, I apologize for this. And like Detroit's over here. It's like when you're going up north, like where is it? Like where is it? You also have the Upper Peninsula up here. And to some people, up north only means the Upper Peninsula. I think those people are dumb. I think those people are idiots. Most people don't care that much about the Upper Peninsula unless it's Mackinac Island, and I would argue that shit's like neutral territory, even though you do have to cross the bridge to get there. The Upper Peninsula will claim it. I would argue, sure, maybe they should, but it's dumb, and I say that it does not count. Most people go like their entire lives without really going to the UP. So, meh. Up north for me is like, it's like Mount Pleasant. So where is that? It's like right here. It's weird. It's just contingent on where you live. Because like if you're down in Detroit, you're going to think like fucking Saginaw is like up north, like right here. And like that's crazy. So like when you start getting up around here and it's like Traverse City, Like, this is unequivocally, to me, you talk about, like, Petoskey, you talk about, is it Bay City, you talk about Alpena, you talk about Sheboygan, you talk about Top of the Bee. How about that, Grandma? You like that? Talk about Top of the Bee. We're not above the Top of the Bee shout out here at the Coping Hour. That to me is absolutely up north. There's your geography lesson, folks. Don't know why I did that. If you are listening to this on YouTube, be sure to rate 5 stars. Whoops, that's backward. If you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to rate 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. You are all amazing. Amazing. Love reading every single word. I didn't say anything about Monty Williams or Brandon Ingram today. Whoops. That'll be Friday's show, I guess. Oh, it's because today's a Monday show. Well, I'm recording it on a Monday. Okay, folks. I will catch you guys
Computers now have
in the next one.
Beautiful.
Primary control.
Beautiful.
Primary control.
Beautiful.
Primary control.
Beautiful.